I see. Hi guys, welcome in. Should we do light or no light? Oh my god. So something happened as I was hanging out with a friend today or the other day. Um I didn't realize that I was still healing this people pleasing tendencies. And I think it goes by layers. I think I've come a long way, but also like you never really stop healing. And healing is an entire process. And I'm learning to like kind of be in the present moment instead of analyzing so much. But when you become aware of your tendencies, it's way easier to like notice and come back to the present moment. And this time when I got triggered, I didn't feel like doing my inner work. So instead of, stopping and journaling and like actually feeling and like and doing everything that I'm teach at the end of the day, this time I didn't. Let me share from the beginning, okay? I wrote it down. So I was talking to a friend, and out of nowhere, she was just like, "Hey, oh, actually, I haven't spoken to this friend in a while, and she asked me directly for a favor. Like she didn't even say, "Hey, how are you? How you been?" This type of um like warm up before actually asking for the favor. And I got so upset. Like out of nowhere, my heart was pumping times 100. And I was just like, what is going on? This was just a text. After that we spoke, but I kind of like didn't even, I mean, I acknowledged and I witnessed, but I didn't react. I just allowed the emotion to just be. So I didn't feel like doing my inner work. I didn't feel like stopping and analyzing. Like I had to get some stuff done, and I just wrote it down and actually just waited a little bit for my heart to stop pumping so high. I was just like very curious about like what is going on? Like why did that trigger me? Hi, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. Um so before I continue, I was I was super triggered out of nowhere from this question of like, hey, can you do this? Like this favor, right? And and then I continued in my day, and and then I was and then out of nowhere, like I was at the gym and I was like, oh my God, I felt anger. And at the same time, like I know anger is a secondary emotion. So I know that what is the underlying emotion of anger is sadness. So out of nowhere, I felt sadness um, because I was never allowed to ask, because I was never allowed to just be. And I think I shed a tear. I think I shed a tear, and because this version of myself that I hadn't witnessed in a long time was coming up. So I thought I would share because even though you like heal and you do certain stuff. And even though I'm teaching, like, I don't teach, I often say this, but I don't teach this from a place of, oh, I've conquered it all. Oh, I know everything. No, I teach it because I practice it every day. Hi, guys, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. I'm talking about this side of me that hasn't shown up. This, if you're a people pleaser, stay because I've shared, maybe go back in the video and like just listen to the story that I just shared about people pleasing tendencies and how they're so important to heal. Anyway, I have a masterclass. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Miguel. Welcome. Hi, Hassan. Hello, Alex. Hello, George. Hello, Truth. Hello, Cecine. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. Um, so anyway, as I was saying, you have to kind of like notice what your patterns are or what type of personality you have to be able to do this type of inner work. I mean, I've done it so for such a long time and it's been over 5 years, and triggers are going to still show up, you know? Like the person who like comes in here and tells me that they don't have triggers, they're probably not putting themselves out there. So let me know if you feel seen or you feel heard, if or if you're a woman who has people pleasing tendencies. Like we were never allowed to just be who to just be authentic, to just um to yeah, to just be authentic or just to ask. I I have so much to share about this subject, and actually just let me come closer. Hello. Yes, absolutely. One more thing. Like it depends so much on how your people pleasing tendencies are and how we are like meaning making machines. Everything in our mind and our beliefs mean something. So money has a specific meaning for you. If you don't have a specific meaning, you're blessed, basically. And I noticed that I had this meaning of money when I was trying to make more money. I didn't notice, I didn't realize, right? And I also noticed that I wasn't being conscious. I was bypassing instead of asking directly how much money I wanted to make, instead of just, I've said this before, instead of just like writing down in my diary like how much I want to make. I was so focused on not asking that question because I was never allowed to ask when I was younger. And I'm not saying it from a place of, oh, um, from a place of like, go blame your parents because it's not true. Because they probably did the best they could with the knowledge that they had. So, yeah. Let me know if you have any questions because I love this subject. My channel is exclusively for women who want to transform themselves, who want to level up, who want to become aware of what their patterns are. Um, so, yeah. No, 1000%. If this resonates with you, um, GRW says, so men are not allowed to watch your lives. Absolutely. If you feel aligned, if you resonate with the subject, or you just want to witness or watch what you might want in the future, or like what's secure people, or yeah, of course, by all means, like watch the live, you know what I mean? I'm from Peru, originally from Peru. And I have a fiance, so I'm gonna get married next year. I'm engaged. Okay, so Sheikh is asking a interesting question. He says, or she says, sorry, I don't know. She says, so where does the influence of your parents' upbringing ends, and when your own thinking kicks in? So it's actually the way that we perceive things. Like I said, we're meaning making machines. So you can't, this is like the type of work that I do with analyzing everything that you have in your life in order to like come to the next step. So to like answer your question, it never really ends. So you kind of need to become aware of what your beliefs are, or what your perception is of money, of relationships, of love, of friendship, and all of that. Yeah. Funny Clip says, Dan, you think as hell. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Alex. Yes, I am from Peru. That's from South America. So, yeah, Latin. Thank you for your compliments. I'm also hosting a masterclass on Tuesday, which is it's a subject that I'm super inspired, and essentially it's going to lead into like this big container. Um, the masterclass that I'm hosting, it's free this Tuesday coming up, June 30th. Um, if you're interested, by no means, sign up. The description, the sign up link is on the description box. Shaq Mustafa says, I understand that, but one's beliefs definitely stem from the environment, but those can be toxic. How do we evaluate them from a neutral standpoint? Um, I don't know. Can you be more specific? Maybe you can share like what belief exactly you're referring to, So if you want, if you feel called to share, share it, so we can people can comment on what your beliefs are. Um, I don't like the word toxic because I feel like every family has their toxic patterns. Like everyone responds to certain things, and like our family knows what's going to trigger us. And sometimes they like to push those buttons. It's not malicious, but it's just the dynamic that a family sometimes has. If they weren't taught how to communicate, it's really hard to, you know, to break those patterns unless you leave the family. I've lived alone for a long time without my family, so it was liberating because I learned, and then I can actually have like a very like after 10 years. I mean, I've visited them, but like now I can see clear what the patterns are. Now I can intentionally come see them and like spend time with them and actually have fun, because family is so hard to identify what those patterns are, and we're so caught up in the dynamic that it's hard to do something different, so you have to like leave the nest. And many people that that do not know how to stand on their own have a trouble leaving like the nest. Yeah, we speak Spanish in Peru. um Oh, so how do you see patterns? So it's honestly, you can see them on how you feel. You know, if you feel expansive or you feel like you're small or contracting, it's really on how you feel. How is your emotional tone? Like, are you inspired? Are you excited? It like that answers your answer on its own. If you're talking about what my pattern, what framework I use, I'm hosting this masterclass that I'm going to teach all of this that I've been preparing. That talks about our emotions, our brain, and our actions, and how that is essentially, creating the present moment that we have, the present life, the life that you've kind of inherited. Um, it has to do with like conditioning, not to get too technical, but like conditioning, um your psyche. I Yeah, I just really felt called to share, how, for example, my what I just explained a few minutes ago, but people pleasing tendencies. How was I able to see that pattern? By getting to know myself. Like, that's the only answer. You need to be able to see kind of where your intent, what's the intention behind the action that you are doing, essentially. That's what I'll be teaching in the masterclass, like how emotions are affecting us, how our mind and our thoughts and our subconscious mind is stopping us from getting the life that we truly want, and why our actions are not aligned. Essentially, they're not aligned because the first two are not aligned. So they're all acting simultaneously. So maybe some people might say, "Oh my God, I want to do this," and then they don't act on it. It's because something in their subconscious mind is telling them that maybe they're not good enough. Maybe they believe that they're not worthy. Like, it really depends on the person. And that's what I'll be speaking about on Tuesday. Hello, it's 7:40 here. Hello, Miguel, welcome in. Let me know if that made sense for you. Hello. Oh, that's cool. For 440 California. I love California. Thank you. um, So anyway, if there are any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, are you able to hear me? Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.